film buffs, I am about to finish them, as in the reviews. So, welcome to another episode of How I See It. Straight Shooter here, coming at you from Team Sound Studios. Red Band spoiler review of Mortal Kombat. Now, I just reviewed the Mortal Kombat animated movie that was released late last year. This is the live-action reboot of the movie series. It was on HBO Max as well as in theaters. I saw it on HBO Max. So here's my review. The movie stars a bunch of relative unknowns. Louis Tan plays the character named Cole Young, who was solely for the movie. He's not part of the franchise in the games or any of the other movies. The other big actor was Hiroyuki Sanada, who plays Scorpion, or actually plays Hanzo Hasashi, who becomes Scorpion. And he's been in The Last Samurai, 47 Ronin, he's been in Avengers Endgame, The Wolverine, and he's been in Revenge, or at least season 1 of Revenge. He's a pretty well-known martial artist, and it was good to see at least some star power in the cast. The movie was rated R, so it's going to be unlike the first Mortal Kombat or Annihilation. Thank God it's not like Annihilation. The movie is basically a setup for the tournament, the infamous tournament that we learned about in the Mortal Kombat movie, and was adapted again in the animated movie, and the games. You know, you see all the storylines, and it's basically a prequel to the Mortal Kombat franchise as a whole. But it's kind of like also a soft reboot, because they have a lot of the characters from the first tournament in this movie. Like they have Sonya Blade, they have Jax, who is, by the way, played by Mehcad Brooks, who also plays James Olsen, Kano, Molina, Goro, Cabal, Kung Lao, Liu Kang. And I'm wondering what they're going to do with the sequel. I guess they're going to have to bring in a bunch of other characters from the games, because Goro's dead, Reptile's dead. It made it seem like Kano was dead, but I'm not convinced that he's 100% dead, because the way that it looked like he died, he could have like the metal plate in his eye and come back, like the way he looks in the games. Cabal is dead, and Molina's dead. So basically everyone that was working for Shang Tsung is dead. So I guess he's going to have to bring back a bunch of like other characters from the games, like maybe some of the cyborg ninjas, you know, like Rain or Noob Saibot or whoever else it is. But yeah, basically the movie ended like, you know, a lot of the Shang Tsung's forces were killed off, and it's basically setting up the actual tournament, which I thought was kind of odd, but it was, you know, I kind of respect them for going a different direction than just adapting the tournament again. But at the same time, I think the tournament would have worked a little bit better. So it's kind of like a catch-22. Like, damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? So they said, fuck it, we'll just do this, you know? The movie was gory. It was rated R. The fight scenes themselves weren't very brutal. It felt like, you know, all the fight scenes were designed so that they could get to fatalities. And they forgot to make the fight scenes really awesome. Like, there were a lot of quick edits, you know, there are people, you know, doing kung fu flips and whatever, but not connecting a whole lot, and not really feeling like the brutality of a fight before a fatality. Like, okay, if you play the games, like the fatality comes after you've been through a fight. And in a fight, like, you see and feel how brutal it is, like how much each fighter fucks the other one up. And finally, the fatality is like the fatal blow because, like, that opponent's energy is spent. It kind of feels like, they land like one good hit, and like that's enough to say, okay, finish him. And there was even this one scene where, it was definite fan service. Kung Lao was facing Natara. Basically all he did was flip around and like grab her and catch her, and he did the fan on the ground fatality where it saws her in F. Cool to see, but there was no fight build up to it. I didn't really feel the intensity, and then the satisfaction of the fatality was like, oh, that was so awesome. It was like, oh, okay, that happened. Same thing with the Liu Kang dragon fatality where he killed Cabal. Cabal just kind of got trapped in this like, pool of something. I don't know. It just felt kind of tacked on. Like, we're going to show the fatalities that people want to see, but there's no lead up to it. It's just kind of there. Like, it happened because this is what we think people want to see. That's the one thing where the original Mortal Kombat movie has the edge on this movie, is that the fight scenes were done really well. They were choreographed really well, especially Scorpion versus Johnny Cage, Liu Kang versus Reptile, and even some of like Liu Kang versus Shang Tsung. That you could tell that they're, that the fighters are good martial artists and they know what they're doing and they're really giving each opponent hell. I didn't really get that feeling in this movie. The one thing that was kind of cool to see that was unexpected was Kano. He was the comic relief. He had like some very funny lines, and it was unexpected because you always, expected Kano just to be like an evil guy, but he, when he started, he was a mercenary. So Sonya hired him to help fight, Shang Tsung's forces, but then he betrayed them because Cabal was like, why don't you work for us? So that's what he did and stuff like that. But leading up to that, he was the funnest part of the movie, for sure. So yeah, the movie was decent. It wasn't the Mortal Kombat movie that I was hoping it would be. But it was definitely better than Annihilation. Not that that would have been very hard. As far as the first movie, I'd say it's kind of, it's kind of balanced. Like, it's just about as good as the first movie. Not better, but not really worse. So, and I did enjoy, or still do enjoy, the first Mortal Kombat movie, even though it's PG-13 and doesn't have a lot of fatalities and stuff like that. It's still a fun watch. The thing that I need to mention, though, is Sub-Zero was a badass. Scorpion, when he was fully realized at the end when he came, and faced Sub-Zero, was also badass. But the fight between them was a bit disappointing. If anyone would have delivered the intense fight that you've been waiting for in a Mortal Kombat movie, it would have been those two. But it was kind of let down because of the quick edits and, not really connecting a lot with their hits. He did the fatality at the end. Scorpion did his famous toasty fatality at the end, but that was about it. So that's basically my summary. Good movie, decent movie, decent movie, not great, not what I was hoping for, but there's a sequel in the works. So hopefully the adaptation of the actual tournament will be what, I've been waiting for, and maybe what a lot of other people have been waiting for. But that's how I see it. I give the movie a C+. And I gave the same score for one of the movies I reviewed today, but Yeah, because it was okay. It was about average, but a little bit better than average. But you know, I'm probably still gonna own the 4K when it comes out because I still own the first Mortal Kombat movie. Yeah, so that's 5, is it? I'm done for the day. So stay tuned. The next movie that I checked out the schedule of what's coming out, and the next movie that seems to be coming out that I really want to see is A Quiet Place 2. And I believe that's the end of May. So it might be another month before I shoot again, but we'll see. Okay, so just bear with me. Keep in mind that the state of movies right now is very slim, very sporadic, and but whenever I do see movies, whether it's in the theaters or on the streaming platforms, or if it's an older movie that I haven't seen that I'll watch, I'll review it too. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Straight Shooter out of here.